This is an optional review video. If you feel like you need a little extra help with anything we've done this week, then this video is for you. We learned about exponents, and exponents are a way to show repeated multiplication. If I showed you 3 times 3 times 3, there's a way we could shorten that. We could say 3, and we want to multiply it by times itself 3 times. We might say something like 3 to the third. If we have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, that's a lot of numbers to write down. We could simplify that and say the number we're multiplying is 4. And how many times are we multiplying it by itself? 5. 4 to the 5th power. So how do we evaluate exponents? Well, the first step is knowing what it means. So 7 to the 3rd power means 7 times 7 times 7. Be careful, a lot of kids make the mistake and say, oh, that's 21. But remember, 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. 7 times 7 is 49, and times 7 is equal to 343. We also learned about PEMDAS. PEMDAS is the order of operations. And the reason we have an order of operations is because if we didn't come up with some kind of rule, we would come up with different answers for different problems. So when I look at a problem like this, I might think, oh my gosh, this is too hard, I can't do this. But remember, you have some rules to follow. The first thing we need to do is anything inside parentheses. 4 minus 1 is 3. That's pretty simple, we got that. The next thing we need to do is any exponents. You need to know that 3 squared means the same as 3 times 3, and we know 3 times 3 is 9. All right, so we've got our 9, we've got our 3. I'm going to rewrite the problem. So here's what we have left. The next thing we have to do is any multiplication or division from left to right. Don't get tricked by doing 9 plus 3 first. That will get you the wrong answer. The first thing we have to do is 3 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm going to rewrite my problem again, just using all these things that I haven't done yet. So now I can do addition and subtraction from left to right. So 9 plus 15 is 24, plus 2 is equal to 26. Order of operations. Variables are symbols, typically letters, that appear in math problems to represent things that we don't yet know the value of. So we might have something like x plus 7. This is what we would call an algebraic expression. It doesn't have an equal sign. We don't know the value of x. If I were to go put something in here, now this turns into a whole different problem. This is what we would call an equation. And we can see that x has a value of 2. So variables are just symbols or letters that stand for quantities that we don't yet know the value of. And last but not least, terms. So it's important that you know words like sum and product and quotient and difference. Those are things that you've probably learned in previous grades. Remember, sum is when we add two numbers together, the answer we get is the sum. A product is when we multiply two numbers. A quotient is when we divide two numbers, and a difference is when we subtract two numbers. Now, terms just means how many parts to this math problem. And I bet some of us might get tricked and say, well, there are 3 parts to this math problem. But when we talk about terms, they are only separated by addition or subtraction. So I look for any addition or subtraction. I see one there. I've got one term. I've got 2 terms. These guys stick together because they are not separated by plus or minus. All right, take a look at this one. What do you think? Remember, terms are only separated by plus or minus. So I'm going to go through this problem and I'm going to separate when I see plus or minus. That's it. I've got 1 term, 2 terms. And that is a review of what we have done so far this week. Please shoot me an email if you need help. I am here for you. Have a great day.